What's up, YouTube? I'm just churning content out for you again. We're back to 2020, where I just can't stop making everything a YouTube segment. I just got a gifted sub. The numbers went up on the Building a Community Shifters. Why don't you come through and give us a little bit of the love? Come on, but while you're here, why don't you do me a favor? Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified. Boss, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about an Aggragate account. An Aggragate account? What does that mean? I mean an aggregate account. Making a little bit of a mistake because I'm trying to stick on a beat, but it's really hard to do when you're trying to think of everything off the top of your head. But I hope you appreciate what I'm doing. At least it's a little entertaining. So now that I've given you enough to hook you into the video, can you please do me a favor? Hit that motherfucking follow. Subscribe. Because it costs nothing to hit the bell to stay notified about all the uploads that I'm bringing to you. And if you're watching this one, that means I probably brought you already a bunch of uploads. How you feel? How you feel? Aggregate accounts. Aggregate accounts. This is an aggregate account. 110,000 followers, followed by Randall Hines and Matthew Van Dyke, as well as a bunch others. You might like is already a bad suggestion. If I'm seeing Trader Tom, if I'm seeing some Freedom account, when the prey is armed, Predators think twice, Christian Conservative, Trains, DM, I don't get that. Tim Lawrence, my Christian faith leads me, conservative and Trump fan, proud Navy vet, corpsman, retired golfer, crazy. Okay. Whatever.
Gross petals falling off the skeletons. My face ain't real. Hollow saber shaped sticks pull my tendons from the mush.
Okay.
Icy path, you caught me limping through the slush. So what if I was wrong?
I think I have a theory about how the right wing grift is starting to explode when it comes to social media. Aggregate accounts. And now we had a small conversation about aggregate accounts a while back. And I totally understand if this isn't everybody's cup of tea as far as like getting how social media works, because you might rather be more inclined with like bigger accounts or, you know, conversational starters, people who have media outlets. I get that. Trust me, it gets good. Biden the dummy. I'm going to raise your taxes. Biden supporters. Awesome. Dumbest people on earth. Hashtag MAGA. So you can see where this is going already. Join the website in September of 2016. That's a little bit really that's really a telling sign. Pin tweet. When's the last time you've heard a liberal say anything good about America? This was on September 9th, 2020. With this type of timing, I can see where this is going. I can see where this type of account is going to be. I want you to read some of the ideas here, because a lot of the people that you probably argue with on a daily basis probably say a lot of shit like this. And I want you to see how accounts like this can just generate outrage, and look at that. I'm covering it. I'm not against the corporate mill, if that makes sense. But I want you to see how these accounts work in real time. You lose. Yeah. Thank you for the follow. What's the extension things that give you the bars and percentages under the Twitters? I'll tell you after this segment. But a quick overview. It's called Bot Sentinel. And it just records how you, or it has a database on like how you interact with other users. So like if long threads are happening, if negative words are always being slung around, like it starts to give you a disruptive reading. I don't take the reading seriously. I just do it as like a forewarning, just in case I might be dealing with a bot. It gives me like the ability to like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have such a reaction to what's being said to me. Mar-a-Lago was not rated to retrieve evidence to indict President Trump. Mar-a-Lago was rated to retrieve evidence President Trump had to indict Biden, Obama, and Clinton. There is literally no proof of that. There is literally no proof of that. Not at all. Not even remotely. So this is misinformation. We should flag it as misinformation, right? Fair. I think that's fair, right? That's fair. Nothing was wrong with that action. But that's not real. 7,000 likes, and a brother can't break 10 on a good day. All I'm saying is, like, help a brother out. Like a tweet or two. My Twitter's in the description below.
So when I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it, too. So don't tell me about a free transition.
The real reason Biden had his FBI raid Trump's home. Okay. Biden did the FBI acted independently. I'm so confused here. 10 million jobs, more than ever created before this at a point of a presidency. 3.5% unemployment rate, a near record low in the history of this country. More than 220 million Americans were vaccinated. Record small business creation, that's our economic record. While I could disagree with a few points of that because it's like terribly irrepresented, if job numbers are up and the economy is doing so great, then why do you feel the need to forgive student loans? How that makes sense? How that makes sense? How would paying back student loans stimulate the economy? Wouldn't it be better to just let people buy things with that money instead? Like food, entertainment, rent? MAGA Republicans don't take showers with their daughters. Why? Why would you tweet something so controversial yet so brave? Okay, this is just a nasty tweet. I don't get it. I reviewed the Trump raid affidavit obtained by Judicial Watch. It is all a scam. Copium overdose. Copium overdose. Every one of these asshole Democrats and dirtbag media hacks who did everything they could to prevent President Trump from protecting America are now accusing him of espionage. Unbelievable. If he couldn't protect America because they stopped him, then what else do you think he could do? Who is this Aggragate accounts? Are you starting to get the point here? Now, I know we're going to keep going down this. It's not going to be as long as a dissertation, but we keep going down this and you're going to be like, well, these are just dumb statements. But do you see how much of the conversation is generated from these dumb statements? Why then? Are people liking it unironically? Is it being boosted up in the algorithm? Questions I want you to ask. Why on earth is Joe Biden wearing a mask while walking alone outside? Because he can. Because people in Japan do that. I refuse to believe 80 million people were stupid enough to vote for this dummy. I mean, sis, whatever float your boat, but like, it was 81 million. Get your numbers right. Why is RNC Research posting that? The Republican National Convention research team tweeted out, instead of anything on RNC Research, their research was, look at this video of Biden wearing a mask. Why? Research. 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 Research.
Okay, I'm in there now. So two questions. For
Sure.
On this semi-fascism comment,
Yeah.
is this something we're going to hear more of, that phrase? Is it something the president's going to kind of embrace? Or is there any sense that it was...
Okay, so the Gary Coleman is a racist line there. Biden, Jack Posoybeck, whatever, fucking loser guy, 1.8. And this, I could consider him an aggregate account too. This is why I'm saying, like, I wouldn't go down these people's Twitters. I would do a little bit more there because they're like media figures. But like, you see what I mean? I didn't say anything, but you know what I mean. The trick is that it's meant to do that, and I get that. But like, I feel like other people don't get that. Like, they know it's dumb, but they don't know like why they're just continuing this trend. It's because of these accounts, the aggregate ones that keep the conversation going. Let me get this straight. President Trump put America first, did everything he could to secure the borders, and was called a racist. Joe Biden opened the borders, didn't happen. Sold America out to China, didn't happen. Russia, didn't happen. And now Iran. I might have to give you that one. And you're trying to convince me that Trump is guilty of espionage? Bitch, dumb, two things can be right at once. Two things can be right at once. I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm losing my mind. How do these people get away with this shit? Only people as dumb as you would think a president. And this is what makes me think this account isn't a real person. Is what I'm getting at. I'm trying to really. Joe Biden said he was going to unite the country, chose to fucking dynamite it instead. Make America great again. Someone tell that dumb fucking pile of shit sitting in his basement in Delaware his fucking job is to make America great. Isn't the president of the United States elected to MAGA? The president of the United States has a problem with Make America Great Again. What the fuck? Joe Biden literally admitted he doesn't give a fuck about well over 50% of people in America. Say what you want about President Trump. He would call Democratic leaders every name in the book, and deservedly so, but he never went after their base because he represented everyone. That's literally a fucking lie. Joe Biden has lady parts. Okay, that's funny. I give you that. Marjorie Taylor Greene should have to pay back every single dollar of the PPP loan she had forgiven. You are seriously that dumb? I don't get, like, I just made my last student loan payment, mortgage payment, car payment. I still owe them a ton of money. I'm just not going to make any more payments. Like, just dumb, like, argument points. Now, why did I choose to cover this? I also want to answer some things that are coming from chat. I did not forget, y'all. When it's convenient to blame Biden, they act like he can get things done. Otherwise, they act like he's incompetent. Literally during the election, and you can see some of that footage in the very first stream I did. You can see it in some of the very first content pieces I pulled out. I screamed that from the heavens. It is like he's the sleepy mafia boss that's selling America out to China and Russia, but also needs a nap every 10 minutes. Like, I don't know. We're just weird like that. Are bots as advanced as an AI yet? We just did a whole thing on AI. What was that? What was that, last night? Or the night before? There was an episode where we just did that. They want their team angry so they can have their digital soldiers do their dirty work and riot and go to jail for them. It's more than that. And that's, the matter of fact, off that, I'm going to make my grand final point, and then we shall move on from this topic. I love that. Yo, I went in and talked to my dad, and I was like, yo, Dad, it's only been 45 minutes. I've only been streaming for an hour. It felt like we did the season 3 intro. We did the we talked about like 2 things, watched like 3 videos. Like, damn, how fast was that? Like, I guess I just don't get stun locked as often because I can talk a lot. But anyway, I have a feeling that what we're starting to see here is foreign aggregation. I think that there is something more to these accounts that's allowing them to stir up these talking points, because I've heard people in real life say shit like that. People who are not political say things like that, because those aren't political statements. Are you see where I'm going with the foreign interference here? We are starting to enter into an age, and I guess the pandemic accelerated this a little too much, because it was a pandemic, therefore it was scientific, therefore it required science, which was a whole thing that, like, a lot of Americans, or a lot of people in general, humans, aren't very knowledgeable on, to a degree where, like, a situation like this would be massively understood. But I'm starting to think that they're changing the conversation to be less about politics and more about, and this is so reductive that you will have to excuse me, but it's like, I don't want to make this video long. They're changing the conversation to their feelings. And when I say feelings, I mean making statements that, in theory, and yes, this is a call about fascism. And see, that's what I mean. Like, I'm being very, very reductive, because even just stepping into it, you get into like 4 layers. But they're driving the conversation to more about social critiques. Social critiques that, in theory, are backed by statements that you would agree with. Nobody should be teaching a 4-year-old about nobody should be teaching a 4-year-old about genitals. Well, there's a whole conversation in that, but that's also not happening. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? It's like these things, these conversations. Now, you might have already grasped this because, you know, you think, but I want to add a little more on top of this, give you a little nugget. While we know that these conversations that they're having are being fabricated, have you ever asked yourself why these are the specific targets that allow them to fabricate it without any full pushback from any mechanism of the system? Like, you can't say the N-word on television effectively. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go on a racist tirade. You might be, oh, that's a great example. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. I fell into it. Look at that. Fell into it. You can say the N-word on television and in film, but there's got to be a purpose for it. If it becomes out of the intention of art, like it's just racist, if it's purely negative, you get quote unquote, and we're doing this for the sake of the conversation, this is the reductive part, canceled. Okay. What if you took an entire base of conversation, and I mean powerful, I'm talking put a president in type of base, and you made all their conversations teeter on that brink? What if you could create absurdity into reality? One thing happens in one place, it's happening everywhere. They get pushback on it from the liberals. How could you defend that? It puts you in the form of the argument. Wither King, that's a great point. There's something wrong with your character to disagree alike upon. It's no longer about the standing. Now, again, if you are at all interested in politics and you do a little bit, you're watching this video, you've probably gotten a grasp on that too. Step further. Accounts like that are what try to filter in as algorithmically as possible into other conservatives' feeds. They retweet the stuff, they see it's hitting the numbers, it must be real. What if nobody's doing that at all? What if nobody's at the helm of that account and it's just an aggregate account? Or it's just somebody hiding behind the screen just typing it randomly for the lulz? Now, this obviously goes into a point of anonymity, but then you ask yourself, what rational person would have those thoughts? Now we got question. You see why it's like I can be reductive with this, but like also can't be. But it makes sense. It's fair for me to assume that I can think that somebody's pushing buttons somewhere that isn't who they say they are, and they letting bad shit slide. Or I could Occam's razor this. We know about the bots that be hitting up first name, last name, bunch of numbers. What if there are stronger ones? What if there are real users that are just stirring the pot? Because then it makes me ask, do these people have these real thoughts? Have we seen a media appearance from them? Do these people, if they got all this Twitter clout, are they like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? They be the quiet, loud ones, the 40 to 50,000 likes per tweet people. Those are the ones that like might slide down your dash, but it depends on your algorithm. If somebody could weaponize that for 10,000 people in a sea of millions, you wouldn't see it coming. So I gotta ask you, and I looped it all the way back to the beginning, sorry. Is that account a harbinger of real thought? Or of something even like more terrible to come? If I start looking at more of these accounts, are Congress people retweeting them? Why? Do they agree with the sentiment? You couldn't. You would never agree with something like that. So I gotta ask, why? That's my piece for today. If you like this video, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified, and I will see you in the next one. Yurt!